And sometimes on a Tuesday, we inspire you. Our next conversation will cause you to follow your dreams, as we're going to speak to a young lady who not only knew exactly what she wanted to do at a very young age, but she actually did it. We say good morning and welcome home to Kedie Johnson, professional footballer who is currently, well, actually just returning home.
Yeah.
After starting her professional football career in France with Lille. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And absolutely like, because I mean, you playing football in France, the Olympic year happening in Paris, a lot of connections that we want to explore, because you certainly will inspire someone this morning, as you fortunately knew that as a child, football was what you wanted to do. That isn't always the case for a lot of persons. So walk me through what or when that discovery was made so that we can start journeying with you and through your story.
For me, it started at a very young age. I officially started at the age of 6, but even before that, I knew what I wanted to do. Based on the siblings that I have, we were always outdoors, we were always playing, you know, so anything my brothers could do, I could do better. So I always had the mindset of wanting to be that kind of child. And when I officially started football at the age of 6, I was passionate about it from the beginning. So I already knew that this was something I was going to pursue long term.
You mentioned doing what your brothers could do and doing it better. Your position in the family, you have older brothers, younger brothers, older siblings altogether?
Yes. So I have 3 brothers, 3 sisters, and I'm directly in the middle. So I'm the middle child.
Now, during the break, we joked about that middle child syndrome, but it means you have persons to look up to and persons to inspire.
Exactly.
Is that part of your deliberate mindset as well?
Yeah, so my brother, who I actually look up to very much, he inspired me for the most part to pursue football, you know, seeing him outside playing. He was extremely skillful. He passed away, unfortunately, a few years back. So that kind of gave me a sense of motivation to keep going for him. In addition to that, my younger siblings, they look up to me all the time. My little sister, she actually drew a very beautiful drawing of me in my football uniform and stuff like that. I literally started to cry. This was like a few weeks ago, you know, so that's something to kind of push me as well to do it for them.
Right. And let's talk about that push, because it's not an easy journey, not just becoming a professional football player altogether, but outside of Trinidad and Tobago, there are so many opportunities. So let's talk about, first off, the Trinidad leg of the journey, if you will, since football is something that we all partake of, but may not necessarily be able to look at career options here. What was your experience like?
For my experience in Trinidad and Tobago, I played with St. Augustine Secondary School. And then I moved on from the age of 11 to go into the Trinidad and Tobago national team, but at younger age group, of course, and then going up into the senior team. You know, that kind of created opportunity for me to go abroad. You know, and a lot of people didn't have or doesn't have that opportunity, you know, so I think I was extremely blessed in that process. And to say, you know, I wasn't closed-minded towards the idea of going somewhere else to play, because I know football and I know especially women's football is growing, and I wanted to be a part of that growth.
I imagine it must feel phenomenal to be a part of that growth.
Exactly, it does.
But you mentioned St. Augustine as in the Green Machine.
Yes, the Green Machine, of course.
Reputed for football since I can remember myself. Yeah. So tell me, as to how do you feel that those years, secondary school specifically, were formative in your career, since a lot of football is played in secondary school and got a lot of attention?
Yeah, for me, I was blessed to play in a team that was winning all the time. So I was seen a lot by people in the country as well, you know, playing with a team that was always in the final, that always win in the final, when I was there, of course. And just being able to experience the full football experience in Trinidad and Tobago, and not just stopping at midway because we didn't qualify. So that was really good for me and for my team as well, being part of that process.
Now, was it different having moved from a winning team, all those eyes on you and those opportunities, even at the national level, and then when you get out of Trinidad, small fish, big pond, was that significantly different?
It was significantly different indeed, because being part of winning teams, you winning all the time, you build confidence, you build strength, you build support from the supporters and the fans, and being in a bigger pond, you have to go through the process a lot more mental that you would expect, you know. So it's kind of, am I able to stay confident and to stay ready despite what is happening in the team, in the culture of the team, and so forth. So it's more mental than anything else.
I'm glad you brought up your mental, because you would have had mental stress aside from the football part of things, because academics was a part of your life the entire time. That balancing of academics, that change of culture as well, those things must have impacted you. So talk to me about how you navigated those significant changes mentally.
Yeah, so for me, I was always in the school environment. So being in school while playing, you know, having that balance was something I was always used to since I was a child. But when I went into France, I was still pursuing my master's. I was almost finished, and being away from that environment of school, but football on the side, it was completely different for me. So I had to say football, and school on the side, you know. So just having to stay disciplined and to stay, you know, ready despite, you know, 2 a.m. classes and then 2 p.m. games and stuff like that, you know. Just being able to stay as disciplined as possible was something very difficult for me. But in the end, I was able to finish my master's degree and get rewarded after that.
Tell me how you stayed disciplined, because I am listening to the 2 a.m. classes and I was like, girl, I can't even make 3 p.m. now. Oh,
trust me, I argued every single day. I complained how difficult it was, how hard it was. It wasn't, you know, daisies and roses. It was very difficult, but I knew what I needed to do, and I knew what I wanted in order to complete it, and that was my biggest motivation at that point.
I really admire you. I really do. Because you make it sound as if you've had that path, you've stuck to it, and I can't fathom, with all those sorts of changes, the dynamics of changing from your family being there, your supporters being there, to a whole new space. I couldn't make that change as easily as you sound. Yeah. Now, granted, though, that you continued in terms of academics, got your master's, and then professional football is the goal, we've seen a lot of conversation around, one, the parents telling you need to fall back on something because you can't make a career in sport. You may have proven that wrong a little earlier, but you've also seen where females in sport don't necessarily get the sort of recognition or even compensation that males do.
Yeah.
You now in the professional space with the academics to back, but also still putting football at the forefront. What would you say to a parent who has a child with the same aspirations?
I think in a parent's perspective, support is very important. Just being able to support a child through that process, no matter what they want to go into, what they want to pursue. We know as Trinidadian culture is always education first. So just being able to see, yes, education is important, but what my child wants to do and what they want to pursue as well is also important, you know. So just being able to show that kind of support, because that's what my mother gave me. So that's the blueprint that I have in my life, you know. So that's what I could speak on, and, you know, everyone's situation is different. You could be a part of the 1% who goes on to be a professional player, or you could be a part of the rest of the world who wants to just do 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So it just depends on the person's journey, you know, because everyone's journey is different.
Well, your journey is taking you to a beautiful place where opportunities are going to be at the forefront. Let's talk a little bit about branding opportunities or other parts of or other facets of the football opportunities, the football world, if you will, some of which we're actually seeing on screen right now. What was your experience like?
My experience with Petit Comfort is a very good experience because it was my first major shoot. You know, so I went in there, I wasn't as prepared as I was because I didn't know how big it was going to get. You know, so just being able to experience that as well was very, very special to me. And, you know, seeing that I was featured a lot as well made my parents proud, especially my mom. So, you know, she sent it to everyone and, you know, she was TTT herself.
Good job, Mom. That's what we need to see, because your stories need to be told. The successes, the possibilities, the things that you've accomplished certainly need to be underscored. But there's more for you. What do we look forward to next?
For me, just to have take it one step at a time. So have a really great season, a more consistent season, and just be able to represent my country as well on a national level and make everyone proud, and also to support the TTO in Paris.
Hey, right, because you can just walk across and just
Take a train.
yeah, take a little flag and thing. But now, that must have its own impact on you, because here you are, I mean, football in the Olympics, we're not really going to watch like that. And you, technically, you said you represent your country. So which country are you going to pick? No, I'm joking. But in terms of seeing Trinidad and Tobago's contingent in Paris Olympics, what sort of emotions does that evoke for you as an athlete, as somebody who represents the country?
Yeah, so for me in Paris, you know, well, even before that, when I was in the United States, we see a lot of Caribbeans and stuff, and you would pass someone in school and you hear the accent, you say, oh my gosh, you Trinidadian? And you'd be like, yeah, no, bring some kind of nostalgia. But in France, it's not the same. You know, there will be a lot of Haitians, but not exactly, you know, Jamaicans, Trinidadians and stuff. So just being able to see people from your country just being in Paris and representing the country as well kind of brings back a sense of pride and a sense of nostalgia, just being there and experiencing that itself.
So granted that we have you finishing your first season and you're looking forward to the next one, which begins when exactly?
September, mid-September.
So you have a little bit of downtime. What are we doing in that downtime?
Pre-season. Every single day training, twice a day sometimes. Yeah, it comes with the job.
Then hats off to you.
Thank you.
Because again, I couldn't fathom, but you should know that we are tremendously honored to have you, not just sharing your story and representing Trinidad and Tobago, but being a beautiful example of accomplishment and support.
Thank you so much.
To your parents, if you had the opportunity, actually you do have the opportunity to say to your parents one more time, in your own words, how much you appreciate their support and how much that has helped you, please tell your parents.
Oh my gosh, I would just like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the major support, the major guidance as well, and also teaching me how to trust in God throughout that process, because having you guys in my life is one of the most special things and one of the biggest experiences that I've had. And just being able to go out there on my own and to represent and just to have that kind of blueprint that you gave me was it was phenomenal. So thank you.
Kedie Johnson, Trinbagonian, who is doing big things abroad and continuing to inspire us here on the Now Morning Show. Guys, stick around. We've got more inspiration after these messages.